It ain't new, brother. It ain't new. It's the New York Dolls. This was back when David Johansen was a girl. Yes. He was part of the New York Dolls. Every bit of it. This is Sklarbro Country, episode 140. You might ask yourself, why am I seeing you?
It's
on your
live.
computer.
We're streaming live.
Streaming live, just like a real radio show. This is on VPN, youtube.com/VPN. If you're watching it, you know where it is. You're watching it.
Take your pants off. Enjoy the rest of the show.
That's right.
We've got a great show today, Jay. I'm
Yes.
very, very excited.
So do I.
Kumail Nanjiani, one of the best. I call him a young comedian, though he's not young. He's established.
He's not young anymore. He's old.
Just did an
As a matter of fact, I think he's over the hill.
An over-the-hill comedian. He just did an hour special
For Comedy
shot
Central.
in Austin for Comedy Central. He does a fantastic live show here in Los Angeles called Meltdown.
Which I believe they're putting together as a pilot, perhaps, for HBO.
For a TV show. We'll get into that
We
as
will talk
well.
about that.
Just a great dude and a really funny comedian.
And from a sports perspective, Randy, he's got a very interesting, grew up in Pakistan, so he's got a very interesting relationship with sports. And I think it'll be cool to hear his perspective. He's also into gaming, which in its own right has become a sport. Let's be honest about that.
It definitely has.
Joystick finger, that's an injury that people have.
People have. You can get console cuticle.
Oh God, I hate that.
Console cuticle. It literally has sidelined people.
That's how Kenny Rogers died.
That is how he died. Or how he will die.
It is how
I'm going to predict that the guy is going to be at a Roasters just checking stuff out. Someone's going to have
gaming a little bit.
Gaming a little
Gaming
bit.
the back way.
Concept.
Because there's nothing, you can't really do a lot while the chicken's rotating.
It's roasting, guys.
You can't do so much.
I got my cell phone out because it is the most wonderful time of the year. It's tournament
the
time.
Most wonderful time of the year.
71-54 with a minute and a half left. Our Michigan Wolverines
look like they're going to move on over the Jackrabbits of South Dakota. We sweated it out. That's how Randy and I are. I mean, when we watch sports, I don't even enjoy it. First of all, I don't like who I am at all as it's happening.
I don't like who I am most of the time, but
I'm
there
wishing
especially.
negative. I put such negative energy into the universe that it's horrible. It's horrifying how bad I am.
Me too. It's toxic and it's terrible. Like Pitt lost, and I had them moving like 3 games into my tournament in my bracket, and I was like, well, way to go. I'm
Bracket busted.
Busted.
We're done here.
Not really busted, but come on.
You know what I feel like right now, just because I can kind of at times see us on the screen? I feel like Mike and the Mad Dog, but who would we be?
We'd be like
2 dogs.
We'd be like 2 rescue dogs.
Well, this is what I just found this out. Speaking of, I think that's relevant. I just found out that Pitbull,
the rapper,
is a rescue,
which is kind of amazing.
A lot of people
that we
didn't know
just
that
found
about
out that
Pitbull,
about
that he is a rescue.
He's doing great though. He's really good with kids.
Great with kids.
You can't approach him from behind. Though.
Well, no.
Not like
you
that.
don't startle him, and you don't want to corner him. You don't get near him while he's eating,
and you do not leave him alone with a baby.
But he's getting great with kids, and you can take him to a dog run, and he's usually pretty well behaved.
There are a lot of times I got to get Pitbull. I got to run him. I got to run him
a little bit, tire him out before tonight. That's just what a good owner does.
I want him to go down easy, is what a lot of people say about Pitbull at night. I'm very excited about this opportunity. This is the sort of the maiden voyage
yes.
of this thing where we get to broadcast this show as if it were like a live radio show. We're going to get to the point where hopefully we can
take calls, read emails, live emails.
All that stuff this is the beginning of that. We're putting a toe in the water. I'm excited about that. Then the audio for this will then will drop, I believe, tomorrow for this podcast, like a regular podcast that drops on a Friday. So you guys can hear it. And then later on the show today, I have to say,
a new favorite on the show,
fan favorite, and certainly a favorite of every nation that is considered an evil empire. Dennis
Rodman, a fan of Edward Hardy.
Fan of Edward Hardy and flip-flop-esque shower shoes.
Sure.
Dennis Rodman will be here.
I want to remind everyone, this Saturday night here in L.A. If you're in L.A., we're at headlining at the Improv, Hollywood Improv.
Great people on the show. Hampton Yount will be on the show. Jen Kirkman, I believe, will be on the show.
Gerard
Carmichael, Matt Kirshen, who was just on our podcast. So great shows. And we're doing a full set.
Yes.
45 minutes.
We're working up the hour. We're working up an hour that we can do.
So come see us at the Improv this weekend and other stuff. Go to supersklars.com. We've got takes.
We have takes. That's how the first part of this show goes. If you haven't seen it before or heard it before, that's what we do. We talk sports.
Of course you haven't seen it. This is the first time you're seeing it.
Well, maybe someone knows us really well and they've been in the room before.
Fine.
All right.
Good point.
If your husband, who loves NASCAR, dies, Randy, and you are not a Jew, you should be able to memorialize that, right? Am I right when I say that?
At least you are. At least as a Jew, I feel like all other religions should recognize that desire to want to memorialize that sort of thing.
And so this next story is about how, as Jews, we can't tell you the major differences between Catholicism, Christianity. Lutheran is Episcopalian. Is that different?
More
than
importantly,
is Lutheran different than Catholic? Like, how funny would that be if I'm like, is there a difference there? Like, wars were fought over that.
Is there a difference?
Millions of people died. And I'm like, is that feels the same?
Is there a difference between Nazism and Hinduism?
I don't know.
As Jews, we thought all Christians would be okay with NASCAR. I mean, that's what I'm saying straight off the bat.
I think Christianity, Randy, is the official religion of NASCAR.
Just like classic rock is the official music of the NHL.
That was decided. You can't. You don't go to an NHL game and hear like a Smith song.
Yeah, you will not hear like something off of If You're Feeling Sinister.
No.
So if we accept the fact that Jesus is basically somewhere having brunch with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Or Senior. Junior has not yet died, but Senior.
Okay. I don't want to be prophetic here in any way, shape, or form, because he could die in the next race.
He could.
Why would it be such a big deal, Jay, that a Catholic person wants to have a NASCAR-themed headstone in a Catholic cemetery? This is what I don't understand.
As outsiders, I'm going to say this is a no-brainer.
I can't believe there aren't more NASCAR-themed headstones in Catholic or Christian cemeteries.
There should be more.
When I think about it.
Yes. And as Jews, I don't know. I have to admit.
We're out of our religion.
Out of our depth here. But so let's get into it. Fact, Sharon Carr.
Love that her last name is Carr.
Purchased a $10,000 granite headstone in the shape of a couch.
Great call.
With animals.
Great call.
And various NASCAR logos on it, along with an Indianapolis Colts logo to memorialize her late husband, who passed away in 2009. I'm sorry for your loss, Sharon Carr.
Me too. Carr claimed that it represented everything he loved in life. Animals.
Yes.
NASCAR. The Colts.
Yep.
Good that she wasn't represented on that.
Yeah, everything he really loved.
Everything he really loved.
Not his kids, not his wife. Colts.
Family can't
Get
compare
the Colts
to the Colts.
in there. Yeah.
Especially after they got Andrew Luck, which
well,
was
that's
a great
true
pickup.
because they're going to get good. They're on their way on the
I love, Jay, that her last name is Carr.
It is.
I love it. She almost could not have done anything else.
Her husband was well, I mean, that's her married. I guess I'm going to assume that's not her maiden name. So her husband's name was Carr.
He was predestined to like NASCAR.
It's got Carr in the name.
You can't spell NASCAR without Carr. Well, you could.
You can't spell car without car.
That's right.
That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah,
because it's two R's.
Two R's in there.
But fine. That's fine.
Not really sure what the animal images were there for or what they were doing, but I just feel...
He's an animal lover.
Like, I feel like if it was just a Colts logo, the Catholic cemetery would have been like, let it slide.
And then they kind of snuck in NASCAR, and then that became an issue.
It is in Indianapolis.
We learn new things on the show. Catholics, not such big fans of NASCAR, apparently, Rand. I don't know.
Apparently. Here are the details. Carr purchased the headstone and tried to install it when Jonathan Meyer, a priest at St. Joseph Catholic Church...
Was Jonathan Meyer the kid who touched the fly ball in the outfield?
That was
Jeffrey Meyer.
That was Jeffrey Meyer. Joey Meyer was the head coach of DePaul for many years.
Fantastic.
Old man who looked like a kid.
Benjamin Button syndrome.
But coached Tyrone Corbin there.
Sure.
So Meyer, a priest at the St. Joseph Catholic Church in Indianapolis, said no and banned the monument from the cemetery.
Priest, not a cardinal,
not a bishop,
not a Shetland pope, like the kind of pope you would have at a 4-year-old's birthday party. A tiny pope,
mini pope,
just not that.
A priest from a nearby church.
Does he have that kind of power? That doesn't seem right.
It doesn't seem right. This after the woman purchased the couch stone, which cost $10,000.
And that's, by the way, you're stuck with that stone. You can't like return it and be like, hey.
First of all, you're never going to find
30 days on this.
You're never going to find someone who loves animals, NASCAR, and the Colts the way that
you might find someone who loves 2 out of the 3.
Exactly. I love animals.
It's like
lots of people love animals.
It's like our old Uncle Eddie had a sign at his print shop.
They got
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3.
Fast, good, and cheap.
Fast, good, and cheap. You can get it fast and good, but it's not going to be cheap.
Fast and cheap, but it's not going to be good. Good and cheap, but it's not going to be fast.
Animals and Colts, you're not going to love NASCAR.
No, guys. Colts and NASCAR, you're not going to love animals. Animals and
NASCAR, and you probably hate the Colts.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of people who love the Colts in their hearts. I don't think you'll find someone who does that.
So apparently the NASCAR-themed headstone violates the cemetery's historical aesthetic guidelines that, by the way, were expressed to Sharon Carr.
That was told to Sharon Carr. I felt bad for her. And
I was like, about it until we learned this thing. Oh, by the way, Sharon, I know you were grieving, but like someone mentioned to you at one point
this may be more on Carr than we're saying.
That we're letting on.
Do you think she said out loud at any moment, oh, they're going to let me put this NASCAR couch in that cemetery, come hell or high water.
Like she probably turned to someone and said, "Ain't no priest in Indy gonna stop me."
But Sharon,
and then it happened.
Sharon, they told you before you bought it that you couldn't have the headset. Oh, you a priest now?
You a priest now?
You a priest now?
You gonna get your priest face up in my face?
This is a white person talking black, because that's all that
that happens in India.
Oh, you a priest now?
Oh, you suddenly priesty?
I'm just saying.
You gonna get all priesty up on mine?
Sharon, I'm just saying that they told you that you couldn't do it.
You gonna get priesty up, man?
You gonna get away?
Look, a NASCAR headstone is like a tattoo
mm-hmm.
that you get when you're 15.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's that call. That's the no foresight.
At the time, it's the best idea ever.
20 years later,
in the moment,
you're like, what the hell was I thinking? How do I erase this?
I feel like even the world of NASCAR wouldn't be supporting this or proud of this woman for
like Jimmy Johnson would be distancing himself. That's the only NASCAR guy.
Like he'd be saying,
Tony Stewart.
Listen, it's great. Brad Keselowski. It's great that you want to be a fan for all eternity.
That you're committing.
This seems like a bit rash.
Yeah.
And then he'd pour a bottle of milk on a model's boobs, and that's the end of that.
That's what you do.
Maybe PETA needs to weigh in on this one, Jay.
They have been strangely silent when it comes to this headstone.
Where did they stand on all of this?
I don't know.
Look, if Carr really wants to force her will on St. Joseph's,
and it seems like she does,
of Indianapolis, she might want to contact old Indianapolis Colt Marvin Harrison, just to get it, add the muscle.
Marvin Harrison, who
apparently was accused of shooting somebody with an old timey revolver.
Then he went to his car wash that he owned and dropped it in a bucket.
Yeah.
Inconspicuously.
I bet he's got a 19th century revolver that might change the cemetery's mind on this. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
All he's got to do is stick it in his pants and just pull back his jacket.
Bold move. It's a bold move. That's NASCAR in a nutshell. Forcing someone else to deal with your bold move.
I'm going to make a left turn. You deal with it.
Deal with it. Cutting you off. Deal with it.
All right, Jay. There's drunk, and then there's hockey drunk.
I've always said that.
Hockey drunk means you don't give an F about anyone, ever, including yourself.
You watch your mouth, buddy.
Including yourself.
When a hockey player gets drunk, he forechecks the hell. And I always thought it was floor checks, but it's forechecks. Forechecks the hell out of some gold Schlager. Real gold leaf.
Real gold flecks.
Leaves.
Flecks of gold leaf.
Do you think I think on the side of that thing it says gold leafs.
Yep.
Is it Fisherman's Wharfs or Fisherman's Wharves?
I can't believe it's the Toronto Maple Leafs. It should be the Maple Leaves. Hockey players know that they know one speed, and that speed is 100 miles per hour.
That's right.
That is it.
That's right. That's very hockey.
What have you ever heard of someone describe a hockey player as cautious?
Never.
Pensive.
Never.
Contemplative.
Not 1 second.
Because hockey players know that if they're indecisive at all, they're going to get their block knocked off.
So if someone's like, you want to do another shot?
The question isn't out of the person's mouth before
you want to do another, and it's down.
It's already down.
It's down.
It's halfway down.
Hockey drunk.
Hockey drunk. How else could you come up with the phrase? Hold my hockey hair back.
I'm about to hockey hurl. I'm so hockey drunk. Someone has said that. Yarmir
Hold
Jagr.
my hockey hair back, please.
So
hockey drunk.
When Scott Timmins of the AHL San Antonio, San Antonio, that bastion of hockey, San Antonio.
They're always playing street hockey around the Alamo. Around the Alamo, they're always just tons of street roller hockey.
You can't stroll down San Antonio's famous city walk, river walk.
Yeah, we've strolled down without getting high sticked in the face.
Yeah, that's what it's about down there.
You got to watch out. That's how into hockey they are in San Antonio.
They're very into hockey.
It's the AHL San Antonio team and then the Spurs. As far as fan allegiance in San Antonio, that's the way it goes.
So when Scott Timmins of AHL San Antonio got wasted, and you got to see the mugshot. I don't know if we can find it.
We'll try and put it. He looks like the guy.
Hold it up.
He looks like a guy from Creed who wasn't let in the band because his hair wasn't Creedy enough.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was too Creedy.
Too Creedy.
That's saying a lot right there, one way or the other. You can't even call it hockey hair.
I'm looking for his photo right now.
It looks blown out, Jay, like he had gotten drunk while trying to get a blow dry at a blowout bar.
Yeah, where's his?
My wife has been to a blowout bar before.
I don't know if we can get in on this somewhere.
I don't know if we've got a camera
right here.
Can we see this?
Where's my guy? Right here.
Right there.
All right, we'll go here.
Look at that. Look at that hair.
Zero in on that hair.
That hair is like
Scott Stapp would be like, I don't know.
Scott Stapp would be like, you got to tone that down. That is like a hair helmet.
Yeah.
So Timmins got sauced.
Got trashed.
Last week. Stumbled home only to find his back door was locked and his key wasn't working. And that sounds like a drunk problem.
It's happened to all of us.
Drunk problems always start out, I feel like Dan Van Kirk. Drunk problems always start out with, and then the key that always worked didn't.
And then it's like, that's the beginning of a horrible night.
And then I was like, who put that there?
Yeah.
I didn't like the way that dog was looking at me.
So I told him whatnot. So
it should have been a drive-through.
Well, I didn't know you couldn't have sex with a cat.
I'll poop where I want to poop. So stuff like
Things like that, when those start to come out of your mouth.
That's the way a drunk stories are. So Timmons' key doesn't work.
No.
Breaks into his own door, Jay.
Yeah.
Crashes on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
Just sits down, tries to pass out. You know the way you do when you're
so drunk that you just want it to stop.
Also the way you do when you're getting paid to keep your body in tip-top shape.
Yes, the way you get so drunk when
your body is your tool.
Your temple, as it were.
You don't sleep in a bed. Why would you sleep in a bed? Get a good night's sleep there. At least he made it to the couch.
When people say, my body is my temple, this guy's treating his body as if it was a temple in Germany in 1938.
That's a terrible way
Jewish
to treat your
temple.
body. One big problem, though. Here's the problem. Benjamin Garza's wife found Timmons just sitting on the couch.
Wait a minute, who's Benjamin Garza?
Who's Benjamin Garza's, or his wife, for that matter, you ask?
Oh, they're the family that owns the house where Timmons broke in.
The house that Timmons thought was his and was too drunk to note.
That's why the key doesn't work. I don't know.
Do you know there was one time?
So drunk to not know your house.
Okay, so my wife and I were on this vacation. We were down in Mexico, and we were staying in this place that had like little huts. This is such a great story because it was like in a moment I didn't know what was going on. It was like a moment where I was like, "What am I, 90?" So they didn't have like markings on the the huts. So I'm going back. It's at night. It's like kind of dark, and it's kind of like a jungle-y type.
Right.
And I go back to I try to Timmons the situation. I go back to what I think is
your hut.
Our hut. As I'm approaching the hut, I see two people engaged in a sexual activity. They're going at it on the bed, naked. I see a naked ass up in the air.
Man or woman's ass?
Man's ass up in the air.
Balls akimbo?
Right. And I can get a shot of the woman.
Right.
I know this is not my wife. That's not my wife in there, okay?
So you know that you're not stepping into a cuckold situation.
I clearly know.
Which, by the way, someone told me that there are websites for that.
Cuckolded situations?
Yeah, you Google cuckold, and then that's a thing.
This is not a cuckold situation, but I walk back. Clearly, at this point, I should be like, whoa, this is not my... But I...
Slowly backed out?
No, I just stood there for a second, making sure it wasn't my place.
What other proof did you need?
I feel like they saw me. They saw me, and then I quickly ran away.
And then now you're in this small hotel setting.
Hotel, and I didn't get that good of a look that, the next 3 days we were trying to figure out who it was. Who was giving us flack at the breakfast buffet.
You were trying to gauge responses.
Garza's wife wakes up and walks in the living room and finds Timmons on the couch, just sitting there.
And I'm assuming he's dazed, and he's definitely confused, and so is she.
She asks him what he's doing there. This is the best thing. Timmons responds, "Oh, don't you worry about that."
That he's still drunk, that means. That tells me still drunk.
Perfect hockey drunk response. Drunk people will always try and calm a situation down that isn't out of control.
All right, everybody.
I'm sure Miss Garza was was freaking out, but she probably asked him very calmly, "What are you doing here?" And Timmons probably like, "Whoa, calm down.
Whoa.
Don't you worry about it.
Whoa there.
Don't you worry about it is that's what you say. He's guarding a sinkhole at that point. No, don't. We got this all under control here.
Easy there.
Or he's like a production assistant on crowd control while a movie is shooting on a public street. He's like, everybody calm down.
Everyone relax.
Nothing to see here. Just a drunk AHL hockey player in the wrong house.
Sleeping on a couch.
Don't you worry about that.
Don't you worry about it means that almost like he's handling the situation of an intruder in her house. He's almost like, I got it under control. I'll get this guy out of here.
Let me say this.
You're that guy.
This happened in San Antonio. Now, this is how much she should be worried about it. I live in Los Angeles. I'm worried about Timmons coming in my house.
Yeah.
And I live in Los Angeles.
She has every right to be worried, by the way. Don't you worry about that. She has every right to be worried about that.
This feels like a county story wedged up into the country. But,
that's right.
We just have to go with it in case he tries to flee the scene on a kid's Tonka truck. So
this is how drunk he was. Started yelling at her at that point. Started yelling at her, "What the hell are you doing in my house?"
Yeah. What the hell is this woman and her kids doing in his house?
That
something that's never happened before, but something you accept the logic of right away.
Do you think that he knew that it wasn't his house and just was like, no, I'm going to go with this now to get myself out of here?
I think he was like, what are these people doing in my house?
So he was shocked.
She sneaks out the back, thankfully, with her kids, calls her husband, who was working.
And 911. I think she called 911 as well.
That must have been a great 911 dispatcher call, the 911.
What's the emergency, ma'am?
There's a drunk man with Creed hair who broke into my house and is
Hold
yelling
on
at
a
me
second.
from my
Creed
couch.
hair, get out of there.
No. He is
Get out of
really
it.
he is
He's
really
not
drunk.
singing, is he?
He's hockey drunk, ma'am.
Oh, well then get out of there.
We'll send someone right away.
Yeah.
Timmons later said that he couldn't remember how he got there, and I'm sure he drove himself home that night too.
Yeah, I bet he did. I bet he did.
Mr. Garza.
Well, he lives next door, so. I don't know.
No, I'm sure. Oh, drove himself home. I'm sure he drove himself from wherever bar he got drunk. Right?
Yes, that happened.
Mr. Garza, when he finally got a chance to face Timmons, which I'm glad they kind of put that together, told him to his face that he should feel lucky that he wasn't at home at the time, or he would have put a bullet in between Timmons' eyes, and that would have been the end for him.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. No need to Pistorius this situation here.
Easy.
Nobody should be surprised here, though, because the name of the AHL team that Timmons plays for is the Rampage.
He's just getting in the spirit of the season.
Right? When you think about it, this whole situation is exactly like that family who bought the birthday cake from Walmart
that had
there was a knife in the middle of the cake.
Yes.
Nobody was hurt in the end.
So we should just
something was where it shouldn't have been.
And that's who this guy. He was the knife.
Situation could have gotten dangerous quickly.
He was a knife in a birthday cake.
He was a knife in a Walmart cake.
That's all it is. This, by the way, is Here Now by Sean Bones. When we come back here on Sklarbro Country 140.
Streaming live.
On VPN, Kumail Nanjiani right here, our good buddy. Stay with us.
All right, welcome back to Sklarbro Country, our episode 140. Is that what it is, Jay?
Yes, it is,
our
indeed.
very first live streaming one on VPN. Thank the good people at VPN. I want to read this to the Sklarbro Country men and women. About time to take a break right here.
That's right.
And thank the wonderful sponsor, Audible.
We take a break when we come back from break. That's how
breaky we get up in this bitch. When you're done feasting your eyes on us and this, pump some audiobooks into those gorgeous, delicate eye sockets and ears.
Ear socket.
Ear bones. We read about 50 books between the two of us every 20 seconds.
Yes.
20 minutes?
20 minutes.
We use our twin powers.
No, I do say this about myself. I describe my life as
when you're with a good book and
when I have a good book, when I don't have a good book. That's how I define my life.
I will say this. I highly recommend Audible from personal experience.
Yes, indeed.
You listen to great books, great comedy performances. You can start with Bad as I Want to Be, Dennis Rodman, who will be on the program later.
That's right.
If you want a suggestion, I'm just throwing that out there.
Throw it out there.
Get your first selection.
Read by Rodman.
Get your first selection free with a 30-day free trial when you go to audible.com/earwolflive. Plus, use WhisperSync to switch back and forth between listening and reading on your Kindle or any other device when you register with Audible. Pick up where you left off, people. Stop picking up where you don't leave off.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say.
I'm
up
glad
in this. Use WhisperSync.
glad someone had the balls to say that.
Now, was WhisperSync developed by Steven Seagal?
No.
I think that is technology that was developed by him.
It was.
Keep you on track. And cop the new iPad app on iTunes. Don't forget to go to audible.com/earwolflive for your 30-day free trial and free audiobook selection.
Try it out. What do you have to lose? 30 days.
Audible.com/EARWOLFLIVE. Thanks, Audible, for sponsoring this live show. Now let's get back to it with our guest who's in studio right now, the fantastic
Kumail.
and completely dressed up Kumail Nanjiani.
You guys keep ripping on me for this.
Why? You're wearing
Well, they don't know I'm wearing shorts. Well, now they do.
Now
they're
they're
wearing-
wearing,
but not even just shorts.
they're
Like,
not
if you-
Bermuda shorts.
They're the kind of shorts where you have to carry all your stuff because they don't have pockets.
Yeah. Wow.
This is the type of shorts that like a Russian person would wear to a formal event and not know. You know what I mean?
Even a gym would be like, you brought sweats.
No, I actually did wear
You-
these
you
to the
worked
gym.
out to the
That
gym.
is why I'm wearing
You
these.
work out right by my house, right?
I thought it was a safe space. You
Yeah,
know?
it is safe
Come
space.
on.
Where do you live? Where do you live?
Silver Lake. You
Yeah.
work out in the gym right on Hyperion.
Bodybuilders. Yeah.
They're building bodies in there.
It's
That's all they're doing. They're just trying to build bodies.
the gayest gym in Los Angeles.
Hey.
It really is.
It can't be gayer than gyms.
There's a gym in West Hollywood that's got to be gayer than that.
Well, I will tell you, at least 90. Everybody who works there is gay.
Well,
Yeah.
you go to a gym in West Hollywood, which I've never
Well,
been
your
to.
gym has cock pull downs, which is a whole. That's one
Well,
of the
that's like a
rotations.
straight thing.
Yeah,
That
too,
is
I
a straight.
think.
You gotta
Yeah.
work everything. You know,
Yeah.
if you're on the neck machine, you're
Wait.
definitely doing cock pull.
Yeah.
downs.
Are
Pull
you
downs,
not?
cock pull downs?
You're going to the gym and not doing cock pull downs?
No.
Why are we going?
Why- yeah.
You go to a gym in West
Because
Hollywood.
those work legs and arms.
Well, you say to yourself, you go to a gym in West Hollywood, and you're like, I had no idea that Nautilus made a glory hole. machine.
Yeah.
So
No.
cool.
They do. Nautilus is apparently into the
Well,
business.
you come up into the hole.
You come up into the. You're back
into the hole. Again.
There's a reason. Yeah, you love doing that.
Do you
exercise.
like working out I mean, look, you're gay friendly as we are.
Yeah, of course.
You know, we're not the Westboro Baptist Church up in this place. Do you like working out with other gay men?
Well,
Because you're like, I'm off the market, fellas.
Well, it doesn't really affect me. But
Right.
it's kind of cool for me to talk to people because I don't really have a lot of super close gay friends. I mean, I'm gay friends with a lot of people. Gay friends with a lot
You're
of
gay
people.
friends with a lot of people.
But they're straight,
Yes.
supposedly.
I
Right.
try and push it into that place, and
But
people
it's-
just won't go there.
It's cool to sort of hear about that culture and how, you know, the bars that a lot of gay people go to. And
Sure.
there's a whole scene that
It's
we
a
don't
whole-
know about.
We don't understand it.
We don't know about
It seems pretty fun.
It seems so fun.
If you're into that, it seems amazing.
It's like Disneyland. Being in LA is like Disneyland if you're gay.
Well, honestly, just gay life seems like it just would
It's
be
Disneyland
so,
everywhere.
But it would be so fun,
Fun.
all the time. It's like, hey, you
Except
want
for your family not accepting you,
except
that little
for
thing,
people like being
and
completely
wanting to burn
intolerant
you
of
at the stake.
But like you could be like if you found a gay guy who you were totally into like all the exact
Yeah.
same things. That would
Oh my
be so
God.
much fun.
It would be amazing. Plus, I think every gay person has at least one great story, the story of how they came out.
Yes.
You have at least one go-to, like, let me tell you
This party,
Everyone
I got
sit down.
Everyone
Yeah.
sit down, and then I told my aunt. and
It's going to
then-
be great because it's going to be funny. It's going to
Yes.
be moving. It's
Right.
going to be you. You're the hero. You stand up for yourself.
And
It's
just
great.
think if you were
It's
gay,
like your own
coming
little
out-
Bridget Jones diary.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You
Really-
come out, and you can be the fat girl who gets it.
Yeah, there's 3 acts. It's
There's
great.
3 acts.
It's a lovely thing. We should all be gay.
Yeah, if I was gay, I mean, gay Muslim from Pakistan.
Can you imagine like who would be the most difficult person in your family to
To come out to.
come out to if that were the case? If you had to come out and say, "Look, this is the deal."
For sure, my mother.
Your mother,
Yeah.
she would not have any of it. Would she blame herself?
Well,
She
I don't.
questioned. She would
I-
question.
I don't know if her blaming herself is really blaming herself or trying to guilt me.
Into being straight.
Well, no, but that's a guilt she uses a lot. She's like, "What did I do wrong?" You know, I'm
Yeah,
like, "Are you trying to make me feel bad?" Or
No,
is
but
there
she's trying to help you take care of her instead of actually dealing with the moment.
See how
when
that
happens.
goes?
Sure.
See how that goes? She's
But
trying
that
to
happens.
deflect it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, she really is. I think she's trying to sort of process it. Now in my head, I'm just playing. I kind of want to come out to my mom
Just
just for the
do it.
story.
Just
To
to
me,
see,
that
so
would
you
be
can have a
so-
good story at a party.
Or
Because
just
it's
a
a shame
great
you don't have
stand-up
any
station.
good stories in
Yeah.
your entire
Can
life.
you imagine how happy I would make her after I told her I was joking?
Amazing.
That-
so
I
That's
made
like
her day.
losing your wallet and then finding it.
Yeah,
her.
that never happens.
what's the currency in Pakistan?
Rupees.
I just found 800,000 rupees, which is basically
$30.
20 bucks.
Yeah.
20 bucks. 20 bucks. Growing up in Pakistan, we talked about this on our show a little bit about the fact that like
When you were
sports-
first on our show.
Sports were so intense back then, especially like the
Still
rivalry
are.
between India.
Pakistan and India, the cricket matches. You said like stuff was burning. We know about that newspaper. With
Oh
lots
yeah,
of
they
burning.
would burn newspapers and throw it at
What
each
other
other.
sports? How about like beyond cricket? Was soccer or what other sports?
The
were
big ones were nationally was cricket, field hockey,
Sure.
badminton,
badminton not as big, but that was their squash.
squash,
Sure.
The squash was one of those, which is basically like racquetball with different rackets.
racquetball
Like
with
a
a dead
long, skinny racket, and
and a-
there's a dead ball version and a bouncier ball.
It's
version.
very, very difficult.
Very
I
hard.
played it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ball barely bounces, and I think it got popular because we just happened to have the best. Like we had the Michael Jordan of
of
One guy.
squash. One guy. of
One guy
squash.
made it like famous.
we
What
had
was his
one
name?
guy. His name was Jahangir Khan, and he was just huge. And then
Right.
he sort of started this thing where the kids started playing. But I think now we're realizing like this sport kind of sucks.
There was just one guy.
There was
Yeah.
one
It was
guy
one
who
guy.
like made it.
We built a whole.
We built a
nation
whole
about
like
one
we had
guy.
training centers because one dude
guy.
was
Yeah,
good.
I mean it's also sad. Like, what if you're the Michael Jordan of anything but like? What if you're the
Basketball?
Michael? Yeah, basketball, baseball.
Sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
It
I'm gonna say
does.
Michael Jordan. He had a great career, like a wonderful life there. He's having the worst life post career.
Well,
You
and
think so?
I'm going to say
Yes.
this. I watched LeBron in a game in the comeback against the Celtics last week,
Yeah.
and I was like, to anyone who thinks that LeBron won't be better than Jordan in his height, when the two of them at their height, go
I mean,
shut
'cause
up
the
and
thing,
go
and
away.
we say this all the time.
Go
on the podcast,
away.
The things that
Fighting
made
words.
Michael Jordan great as a player are the things that are going to literally kill him outside of it.
Sure.
Kill him. Like he thinks he can turn anything around.
But it's like comedy. It's like comedians who are all about simply comedy. That's it.
Yeah.
You'll kill yourself. You gotta live a life. You gotta get a family going. You gotta do something else outside of it.
Gotta
so
get a
that-
family going.
It's
don't have
also
to.
that thing of like you're so good at one thing that you're like, oh yeah, this is how good I am at everything. No,
Right.
No.
you're horrible in your Hanes underwear commercials.
Terrible.
With his Hitler stash.
Well, you can't pull off a Hitler stash.
Well, that to me says that there's no one in his posse telling him no.
He's got
no
an
one.
ID,
He's
no
not.
man.
He
Yeah.
walked out of his trailer that day,
Yeah,
and like there should be a makeup woman who doesn't know who he is.
Yeah.
Like I was watching American Idol last night, and the kids were singing the Beatles songs, and they're like, "Have you ever heard the Beatles?" They're like, "No." I was
Wow.
like, "What?"
Yeah.
You've never heard, this is your profession. You should.
Yeah.
That's when I knew I was old. That and like when I started listening to dubstep, and I was like, "Wait a minute, what in the world is this?"
No, being over 40 is being able to admit that you don't like dubstep.
I'm sort of
you
getting.
can't admit it yet. You're too young. You gotta be
No,
like,
You're
"Yeah,
in your
turn
30s.
that up."
You gotta be
I-
like, I get why people like.
No,
Turn
it's
up.
good, guys.
It's good, guys.
We can move to it.
Way more of that.
More
not
of
bad.
it. Yeah.
We're like,
There's
no.
some stuff on Adult Swim that I'm like, this is impenetrable. I don't know what is this supposed. Is this a story?
Uh-huh.
What are we doing?
I don't know what's going. What are we doing
What
here?
are we doing here? What are we talking about?
But I think we've proved that nobody, if Michael Jordan can't pull off the Hitler stash, there is
Nobody can.
nobody can.
No.
Because he's the one guy.
You could have done it better than Hitler. Like he's a one guy.
One guy.
Pete
shot.
Holmes is the E-Trade baby, maybe.
Could do a Hitler
Maybe.
stash.
I
Pete
don't
Holmes
know.
is E-Trade baby with a Hitler stash.
Pete's pretty
cute.
racist, so I don't know.
I know,
I'm just
he
saying
is.
the baby
Good.
could maybe
He is.
a young Emmanuel Lewis.
Maybe that.
Okay, all right.
But if it's a light Hitler, like if it's light enough that it's hard to quite discern what
But
it is.
Jordan would be a black kid. He'd be a Blittler.
A Blittler.
He would be a
Black
Blittler.
Hitler.
And that's just I don't know. How that works.
But so you were talking about Pete Holmes. You guys do have done a web show, the Indoor Boys. Is that right? Is that still
Well, the
happening?
Indoor Kids is a
Indoor Kids
podcast I do with
podcast.
my wife,
Okay.
Emily V. Gordon.
But I've seen him on it before.
Yes, we've also did like a season on YouTube. I was gonna say the YouTube.
On the
The
YouTube.
YouTubes.
Damn.
See, now you're old.
Dubstep.
On the
What is that? Why is someone sitting on their fax machine? No, so you did that show, and that's about gaming.
It's about video games. Yeah,
You're a huge gamer.
I'm a huge gamer. My wife is a huge gamer. I try and play
That's lucky.
everything. I
That's
know.
lucky.
And
That's like a gay relationship.
she's really attractive.
She's
Yeah,
attractive.
so
she's
cute
cool.
and cool.
Yeah, she's awesome.
It's you
everything.
kind of hit the jackpot. But so we were talking about gaming as a sport because like they're Madden 13, Madden.
Oh, yeah.
like they
Huge
have tournaments and
championships.
championships and
Uh-huh.
trash talk and
By the way, why are always those gaming championships like somewhere in Germany? Like they're always like,
But that's-
this is going to be in Dusseldorf.
That's funny.
Why are we doing this in Dusseldorf?
I was just watching today. There was a Call of Duty tournament in Europe, and they just made like a edit of just people like yelling at each other, and it's amazing for two things. One, most of them look like nerds.
Yeah.
And two, they have these accents like, "Oh, fuck your mother!" Ha! And they're like these nerdy little guys with just this anger of oppression coming out of them.
Here's my question: if you're going off to Dusseldorf to do, you're quote unquote being stationed in Dusseldorf for this.
Yeah.
Do you treat it like a military goodbye to play Call of Duty? Do you like leave?
Oh,
And then when you
yeah.
come back, do you come back and like get your kids out of school and tap them on the
And do
shoulder?
you
and be
consider
like,
yourself in the reserves? In the reserves for a little while. Do you surprise your spouse at like a minor league baseball
well, minor
game?
league baseball game, like the spouse is out
He
there.
just did a call. He just did a tour of Tour of Duty.
It was just
Call of Duty
Dusseldorf.
tour around Europe.
And then he comes back at the Toledo
Yeah.
Mud Hens game,
Yeah.
and like, there's his kid. The
Let's
kid
face
that
it.
he's neglected.
People who are in Call of Duty tournaments don't have spouses or children.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
true.
That is
Let's
a
be
good
honest
point.
about
it.
There's no
They're-
way that they can keep. Again, it's the Jordan syndrome.
Because to be good at that game,
You have to play all the time.
you have to be so good.
You have to be so committed.
You have to be so committed,
Right.
and I think,
You have to live in the game, basically.
you have to live in the game, and there is some natural ability involved, like Michael Jordan
Hand-eye coordination.
was. Yeah,
If you're really fast with your hand-eye
you
coordination,
have to be fast. You have to be able to think a certain way, and you just have to play so much.
That you've seen every iteration of the game. You kind of know. Like if I see that situation, you start. Athletes talk about this. They say there's a moment when they're playing, the best athletes, where the game slows down.
Yeah.
And you start to see things
Get in the
happening
zone.
before it
In the
happens.
zone.
It's like Matrix. You just see the numbers go by. You don't see
Right.
the like when Kobe gets hot and he just makes like all these threes in a row. You're like, that's amazing.
And the basket gets huge.
Yeah.
He starts to see all the movement around him. I've never experienced that in sports, but I bet you've experienced that on stage.
On stage, have you ever experienced that where like like you are in the zone, sort of like
oh yeah,
you're saying things that you're like,
isn't
oh my
it
God.
great?
It's
Like
the best. It happens once in a while, and it feels great.
it happens once in a while, and you're talking, and you're like in your head, you're like, oh, I just started this thing, and it's already killing in my head.
Right.
It's just not killing in reality yet. And then you say it, and you're like, yeah.
It
yeah,
works good.
And it
we're all
works.
together.
You can trust yourself and
Like surfers say, what is it called? The green zone or something, when you're like inside
in
the
the
wave?
tube,
Yeah.
inside the tube, and
That's
you
what
just
it's like.
feel really, really good.
That's a great movie.
I have it sometimes in video games, and we call it Nintendo, when you're just like in the fucking zone. You're not even thinking. You could do anything.
Nintendo.
It
I
is
like it.
amazing how, like, I think the human brain, there are certain times, like when people are freestyling,
Mm-hmm.
your brain is firing in different ways.
Yeah,
And the same
right.
when you're on stage.
You're reaching things and plugging them in
Yeah.
in ways.
Well, improvisers do that a lot. Like you go to
Exactly.
UCB or you see like an ASCAT here in LA, or you see like the best of the best doing it, and you're like, oh, they're operating on a different level.
Yeah.
They're seeing. It's like when someone looks at a piano and sees the music.
Yeah.
They don't even see the keys. Like that is, it's other levels.
Well,
I try and like replicate it because like what I do is this is horrible. 5-hour energy is awful, right? It's an awful thing.
I mean, it's unless they want to
Not
sponsor
unless they
the
want to
show.
sponsor the show.
Well,
Then we love it.
Love it.
To
I'll
me,
drink a lot of it.
I've tried to like certain places. If I write, like the sensory whatever will get me into the right mindset.
Uh-huh.
And 5-hour energy is one of those. So sometimes, like if I'm
I
on
love it.
set shooting something, I'll take just a little
The
sip.
biggest endorsement for that thing
Ever.
Because just that little taste will like get me to the place. Sometimes.
You know why that's the best endorsement? Because we kind of trashed it. And then you're just like undeniable. You're like,
I'd like
Yeah.
to trash it, but it works, guys.
Yeah.
I'd like to say it's the biggest, most evil piece of shit ever, but it
it's
works.
the best.
It works.
It really
so
does.
good.
It really does.
What's your game? What's your like game of choice right now in your life?
Well, I've been playing NBA 2K. You know, last time I talked, I've been playing that game. Now it's the 14th one. So since 2K, each year, every year, I've been playing them.
How's it been getting better? I mean, do they used to have the thing where if you dunked it so hard, you turned golden?
Oh no, come on.
That's NBA
That's
like
Jams.
NBA Jam.
That's
Sorry. All right, so NBA
fine.
This is real shit.
This is real stuff.
This is real.
So who's your guy?
Can you like it? NBA is the NBA 2K so good that like after the games you go to the hotel and hook up with like a groupie? Like it's that good?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like your little player walks.
so
into
real
the
you have to like
hotel.
lie to your wife?
I take an Instagram of it and then I show it to girls at bars and I'm
Yeah.
like, look.
That's what I
No,
did.
I'm saying in the game, your player then after the
Oh.
game goes to
Goes
a
home.
hotel.
Well, now
and then
they
And
has
that's like beat a rape charge.
they're
That's how real
That's how
NBA
real
2K
NBA
is.
2K is.
jury says she wanted it because
Look.
you had a triple double.
That's so you messed around and got a triple
Messed
double.
around.
Yeah, messed around, got it. But in the game now, you get endorsements if you're playing so you get endorsements, you
That's
get
amazing.
billboards, you get more
amazing.
money, you get on the cover of ESPN magazine and stuff.
unbelievable.
Who's
isn't
your player? Who do you like playing?
Well, I just did a whole season with the Bulls.
Sure.
And
Sure.
and then
it? You feel like a Joakim
was Derrick
Noah.
Rose? Was Derrick Rose playing?
yeah, I had him playing.
You had him playing.
So that's kind of
It's
a
a little-
suspense of
That
disbelief,
was
but
so
fine.
so heartbreaking.
Oh, for that guy? I mean, a few years ago, he claimed that he injured his thumb while peeling an apple in bed. You know the way you peel an apple in bed
How
when
do you
you're
even-
a multimillionaire. Like, where does he have a Murphy bed and live in a studio apartment?
And who's
That's-
peeling apples?
Who's like
just
saying,
eat an
I'll
apple?
tell you, he wasn't peeling it.
He was
Just eat the apple.
Just eat
just
it.
eat an apple.
Who
Derrick
says
Rose.
like, God, I can't handle the skin, guys. The skin is just too rough. for
my
ba-
son who's 4 says that.
my baby teeth do not do that. So you play the Bulls and how'd you do? Did you do all right?
Well, I tweeted this. I said, if the actual season is going to be anything like my NBA 2K season, the Bulls will win the 7th game of the finals after the first 6 are abandoned because the Bulls were losing. So what I did, I cheated. I
You
would
cheated.
just quit. I would just quit, restart, quit, restart.
Quit, restart.
Which I wish the Bulls kind of.
Which, by the way, if they abandoned and they didn't, and they forfeited the first 6 games, there wouldn't be a game 7. They'd lose in 4.
Well,
That's right.
no, I mean I got to game 7, and just the game 7, I did it like 7, 8 times.
Oh,
Just
got
to
you,
win.
got you.
Is he
got it.
coming back this
Who,
season?
Derrick Rose?
I don't
Yeah,
think
maybe.
so. Maybe.
Maybe.
It's so outside. I think he holds himself out and he doesn't come
Now
back
here's the
until
question,
next
because
year.
we talked about the gaming championships, and a lot of people who game, you don't have time. Like I always find
No.
I find it weird that like Chris Angel, who's like the magician, has a lot of is like ripped. He's like a ripped guy. Like
Too much. he's
too many
spinning-
abs. He's got too many abs.
I always said this. I said you only need one ab in Magic. Abracadabra.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
You don't need to be like. At what point does he say, "Okay, I'm done doing sleight of hand. Now it's time to do more crunches"? Like he works out so much so that people who game, to be good, you've got to be playing it all the time.
Well, the thing with Chris Angel, I think, is because this whole thing is sex appeal and stuff.
That's right.
He's a total butterface, and he's doing what magicians do is they're distracting you with all the stuff.
That's right.
So you don't look at his kind of weird face.
His whole aura is a sleight of hand. Is
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
He himself.
Look at my abs, not my face.
Look down here because my whole face is going up my
Yeah,
sleeve.
exactly. He's got the hair. And
Yeah, the hair's trying to frame something that just doesn't look
Yeah,
right.
he slips his face.
Are
in
you
his
ever
sleeve.
worried that, like, because you're an in-shape guy, you're a fit dude, you just came from the gym. I mean, for Christ's sake, you're wearing Croatian shorts here on our podcast. But do you ever get the feeling that, like, wait a minute, I'm getting too
I'm too in shape to be good at
no.
too
gaming.
in shape to be good at
At comedy?
not at comedy, but at gaming? Because but you don't want to.
Was that a slam on Joe Rogan?
No, by the way, you don't want to Piscopo out either. Because
you don't.
Piscopo actually had some funny stuff.
See, Rogan was tough from the beginning. He's earned his stripes. That's a dude who always was into that. Piscopo was kind of in shape, and then he turned into like a bodybuilder, and he lost all of his comedy.
Yeah, well, have you seen, like, Ben Stiller is, like, crazy ripped.
Yeah, but he's funny. But like,
No, he is funny. He is funny.
But, like,
But I got worried when I saw Chappelle. Chappelle got jacked.
oh, is Chappelle Jack?
Jacked. And you're like,
I get word. I'm like, you can't
we'll
do
see.
that.
He's still funny.
That's tough. I remember I did a show with this was Zach Galifianakis before Hangover, but I hadn't seen him in a little while, and I'd just been working.
He got ripped. Just kidding.
I was working out a lot. This was like 3 years ago, and he had like a serious talk with me. He was like, "Well, you can't do this. You gotta
can't
be
do it.
the everyman.
You gotta be the
you
everyman.
you can't.
Zach will tell you more than anybody. He's like the
Yes.
sexiest man alive.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it hasn't worked out for him, but it will work out for someone. at some
Someday,
point.
I mean, look, that's advice coming from somebody who maybe doesn't know. Our
Those
good
who
buddy
can't do
Zach.
teach. That's
It
what we
was
always
crazy.
say.
I saw him and Bradley Cooper, who I don't know, but they were at this show.
Yeah.
Just before Hangover came out, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we just did this movie. It's called The
This
Hangover."
little thing called The Hangover. I
tiny.
don't know if it's going to be good or not. And then 8 movies later, here we go.
Yeah.
Let's take a break,
Let's
shall
do
we?
that.
Let's take a break, and then when we come back, we'll do some quick hits with the very quick, the lightning fast.
The very in shape.
Kumail Nanjiani. Who are we listening to right now?
This, by the way, is Seam. The song is Dust. and
Seem this is an
Turpentine.
old. I heard this on like Sirius XM old school,
Right.
XMU old school.
We're not afraid to bring the old school.
This is
on
from
the
like
show.
the 90s. I feel like again when the sort of the vocals were kind of in the background. It's a little pavement-y. It's a little. We'll get there. It's a little stained.
I like the
Whatever.
feel.
We'll get there. We'll be back.
Oh,
with
where they're like singing in a cave.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
exactly.
Kumail Nanjiani right after this. All right, we're back. Sklarbro Country, our first ever live. Hello, VPN viewers.
Live stream.
Kumail Nanjiani is with us. Live stream.
So wait, real quick. The show is Meltdown. We've done it many times. It's a pilot right now, yes? Or
Yeah,
it's-
we just turned our first cut into Comedy Central. We're
No
very
way,
excited.
dude.
It came out so good.
And where'd you
That's
shoot
fantastic.
it?
At Meltdown.
At Meltdown.
We shot it there. That was our whole thing. Was like
It's gotta be.
It's
And I
gotta
don't-
be the show.
It has to be the show. Now, I don't remember us being on it.
No, you guys did great on it. You guys did great on it.
Your
we
voice
would,
could not be any
Listen,
higher right now. Your
if it
voice
goes
could
to series, of course we would love to have you guys.
I want to say about this show. The reason why I love the show is you have great comedians. It should be a show. It's great comedians doing their most cutting edge stuff with an enthusiastic audience that's not there to judge, but that's there to laugh, and
Yeah.
it's wonderful.
And it's a
amazing.
great space, and
It's the back of a comic book store.
yeah,
Meltdown
but
Comics.
it's a great performance space. Like
It
it's
really
a great
love it.
comedy space.
Low ceiling,
Yeah.
sound bounces off of everywhere. When you kill in there, it feels so
Oh
good.
yeah, beautiful people are watching you.
Beautiful people are watching, nerdy people are watching. And at the same time, I always feel like we always try to push ourselves and do stuff that we've never done before, and it always seems to work out.
It pays off.
Love it.
It's a great
Totally.
space,
Well, you
yeah.
do. I mean, you host the show, and I'm sure you write a lot of stuff for every single show that you host.
Well,
so.
Jonah and I never repeat anything, so we're always like,
It's
all right,
amazing.
let's pick worst amusement park day. Do you have anything? I'm like, oh yeah, I got my penis stuck in a zipper and had to go ride the roller coaster.
You did not.
Yeah.
What?
I had to it was
Do you know
so
that
bad.
Wayne Fetterman probably would love that story because he's a roller coaster enthusiast?
No, not Wayne Fetterman.
Yeah, Feds is a roller coaster
I
enthusiast.
thought Doug,
Stanhope?
no,
Benson?
Benson.
No.
Benson, I
Wayne
think.
Fetterman. Wayne Fetterman, roller coaster
I
enthusiast.
think you're
So you got your penis stuck in.
This was like I just discovered masturbating, so I was like really going to town
Working
Yeah,
it. Yep.
you were
all the time.
That's right.
So I had to go.
When you do when you just discover something.
So it was time to go to the roller coaster. My family's, everybody's outside, and they're like, "Come on, let's go." And I was like, "I got time. I got this." So
Sure.
it's pressure because I have to do that. But my mom's yelling at me. So it's a lot of stuff going
guilting
on.
you.
Mom voice entering the fantasy, not good.
Not good.
Never good.
I
Gotta block
finally
that out.
just will myself to finish.
That's
And
unbelievable.
then just zip. I don't get it stuck. I zip
By
through.
the way, let's not
You zip through your penis?
Not the whole, but like this, like.
just the tip.
Well, this is a video podcast.
Sure,
so
as you can show.
this is the shaft.
Uh-huh.
So it's like just through, so it just rips off some of the skin. So rough.
So
And-
rough, and then it's like what? How you
Yikes.
can't, and then you can't explain what just happened.
No, and then you go and ride roller coasters. It's just like flapping around.
Were you wearing
Yeah.
shorts?
Boxers?
No, I wore jeans.
So you were dressed up more for that than you were for this podcast.
For the-
Good.
Let the record state.
Let the record state. All right, we got some quick hits. Shall we get into the quick hits? Brett Morris on the zeros and ones. It's a computer. It's not a
No, it's not a turntable, but it's fine. All right, so let's get to these are the smaller stories that affect our
And
lives.
Kumail, you'll help us with these. Former New York Knick Ronaldo Balkman.
The Rolando Blackman of dyslexic basketball.
Oh, he's
fans.
the one he had the dreads.
He has the
Yes,
dreads. But
Ronaldo Balkman.
by the way, the Knicks also had a player named Rolando Blackman.
Is that right?
Yes.
This is Ronaldo Balkman.
That's the one I know. I don't know Blackman.
Yeah,
If your name is Balkman, why would you name your son
Ronaldo. So clearly sending up
a
the
message to Rolando Blackman? I feel like
And that message is, I like you, but not enough to name my kid.
to almost name my kid after you. That's
So as of last week, Ronaldo Balkman is now officially banned from the PBA.
not the Pro Bowlers Association.
This is less credible than that.
The Philippine Basketball Association.
Did you know that there was a Philippine basketball?
Is there a
this is-
Pakistani Basketball Association?
No,
They should-
we're
well,
very short. So
yes.
are Filipino people.
Well,
They
the
are.
Philippines
Manny
is
Pacquiao.
the basket at 8 feet? I'm sorry.
The same country that created the fake Tassadai Indians. Do you know about these? We studied these.
Oh,
in our
you
history
weren't
book.
because he didn't grow up here.
He
That's
didn't grow
why.
up here. That's what
Okay,
happened.
there was a period in the United States back in the early '80s where they in
every social
studies book
Rand McNally, like main social studies.
they
book.
talked about this very primitive people that lived in the center of the Philippine Islands, and no technology had come to them at all, and they lived like basically
building tools with like stone. I mean, this was like we are getting a glimpse into a primitive society of people, and we found
and was
out.
taught to us, and then later found out that was a fake. Those were actors hired by the government to create a smokescreen away from their
Like I just imagine like two guys
injustices.
like kind of doing the whole tool thing, and then like going
posing for the picture.
posing for the picture, then going around the corner and smoking. Being like,
Wow.
what do you? I gotta go
Is
do
that
something with
what
a buffalo later.
Krippendorf's tribe? That's where that
It
comes
is.
from.
It's basically that.
They're
but
always gaming, huh? These Philippines always hustling.
they're so hustling.
Put it this way: Andy Dick could play basketball in the Philippines
Sure.
and probably have a great career.
Ronaldo Balkman
Yeah.
owns. What did he do?
Look.
I think Casey Anthony could suit up for the the Manila Magic.
Ronaldo Balkman, by the way, cannot. Let me just say this, because he choked a guy on his own team who was trying to stop Balkman from punching a ref.
Even Latrell Sprewell, the man who put choking someone on your own team on the map, would have thought this was too much because I watched the video.
Now,
and it was
I
pretty
know
intense.
it's the Philippine Basketball Association. I'm guessing that punching a ref is okay. I
That's
guess
probably part of like
that part-
regular halftime entertainment, right?
Yeah.
Like dogs
Punch a
catching
ref.
frisbees.
Get a new ref out.
Get a
They
new
got
ref out.
20 in the.
Pull a new ref out.
That's right. But
Unwrap a new ref. We
like
need
you could do it in a halftime show, but you can't do it in a game.
even
Yeah.
in the Philippines.
Even in the Philippines.
How
So-
far did he go? Did the guy pass out?
No, he didn't.
It wasn't like one of those things you do when you're in 6th grade where you press on your chest and
Yeah.
like, try and get the guy to pass out. So Ronaldo was fined $6,100, which is basically bar mitzvah money for all of us.
From 1984. Sure.
Balkman was playing for the Patron Blaze Boosters.
That's a joke name.
That's definitely like English as a second language name. Blaze boosters.
The Blaze
To me,
Boosters.
that sounds like an energy drink that you would drink on set just to get yourself
Yeah,
ready.
exactly. And blaze and boost kind of mean the same thing.
They do. They
That's
do.
right.
It's like it's a flash of action.
I don't
Yeah.
think Patron is like a
City.
in the Philippines. Am I
No,
right? That it
I
sounds
don't-
like an alcoholic beverage that's also an energy drink.
Well, they might sponsor the team. Who
Maybe.
knows?
They might. They might.
It's better than the Smirnoff Fast Speeders.
Well, no, it's better
like
than
when
the
you need to stay up late in the club, drink the Patron Blaze
Yeah.
Boost.
Blaze Booster. But no, here's who they were playing against: the Philippines-based Alaska Aces.
What?
And choking is against the rules? Are we
So
getting this
many
straight here? So
questions.
many things.
Seems like all bets should be off once you name a team the Alaska Aces.
You
in that
can't
league.
just name
The
teams after other cities that aren't in your country.
Even
Trajan Langdon.
Trajan Langdon,
the
who
only guy to come out of Alaska and really make
play
a
for
mark.
the Duke
Yeah.
Blue Devils, the Philippines. Like if you were you could see the Philippine Langdons.
Yeah.
Like if that
I would do
happens.
that before the Alaska Aces. That makes less sense to me. I don't know why.
I get it if they're going to call the team like the Manila Bulls or the Manila
Yeah.
Lakers.
Or the Manila Folders.
For that.
I mean, really,
They're
they
not
could do it.
good.
No.
In the name it says
There
they
are
lose.
neither bulls nor lakes.
They're terrible in the
Philippines.
clutch.
They're terrible. But
And
the
I
Alaska
know,
Aces.
by the way, I know someone's going to like call us on this and be like, I grew up in the Philippines and the
we
company.
know that the Alaska Aces team was owned by the Alaska Milk Corporation.
We did that
and They are a PBA dynasty.
they won 9 championships in the 90s.
including the rare Grand Slam, which is 3 championships in 1 season. All right.
There are
So
much
many
wrong.
questions.
So many things wrong with that. Grand Slam means what?
4.
4.
Should be 4.
So they won
3 is a hat trick.
Thank
they're
you.
like, they won the Grand Slam. 3 titles
In one
year.
calendar year, which
So
how
if-
many seasons?
So when I first heard
Every-
9 times in
yeah.
1 decade, I'm like, that's great. But like now knowing that like there are 30 times to win, that's not that great.
No, everything is shorter there.
I'll say this: in 1987, the Alaska Aces had changed their name to the Hills Brothers Coffee Kings.
So we do our research, bitches.
Wait,
Still
is
think
that-
they should go with more of a Filipino name, right? It should be more of a Filipino.
Is
name.
that's not real.
It's so real. It's so real that
How
it's
about
bad.
the head of the Pacquiaos?
Huh?
Maybe.
All right.
All right. The hardest thing to believe in this whole thing is that the Balkman situation is that the Philippine Basketball Association has a commissioner.
And his name is Chito Salud, which sounds like
A joke name.
that's a joke name.
Cheeto Salute.
Are we sure the Philippines exist?
I don't know because
The
the
Tas-
it started it. The
The
Tacit
Tacit Indians made us really started. Okay, so Salute chose to ban him based on his checkered past.
including a headbutting incident, and this quote was for Balkman's total disregard for local and host country sensibilities. What does that mean?
I think headbutting is frowned upon in every major country.
Thank
guess
you.
so.
Yeah,
Every culture is anti-headbutting.
yeah.
He
I
doesn't-
don't know many
He
called
doesn't
Russia
respect
maybe.
low-calorie options, I guess. Here's the question. Where do you go from here if you're Balkman? He's no longer in the NBA. He
Mm-mm.
got banned from the PBA.
Which I believe that's going to be not like there's many other. You'd go to Italy, you'd go to
Right. But
China.
But I think Italy's higher in the
I know,
pecking order.
but
food
if
chain.
that's what I mean. So
Where do
Philippines
you
has to
go?
be
Where
pretty
do you
low
go?
down.
This is what he's gonna have to do. He's gonna have to disappear for 12 years because he's only 25.
He's
When-
25.
25.
Yeah, 25. He's going to just
When he turns 37, the Knicks will give him another shot.
He's
'Cause
old
that's
enough
the Knicks-
then to play for a Knicks team.
I was at a Knicks Clippers game last Sunday, and there was a time on the court where Kenyon Martin, Jason Kidd, Marcus Camby,
Kurt
and
Thomas.
Kurt Thomas were all on the court. That's 180 years of life. on
Kurt
this
Thomas is definitely in his 40s.
I
Hundred-
right?
si-
I
that's
saw
160
Kurt Thomas
years of
shoot
life
a
on this.
line drive it was such a line drive it bounced off Dickie Thon's head and caused the rest of his vision to go. Hey-o, sports jokes.
All right, we got another sports story, and this is about why men should never coach girls softball teams. This is a
Girls
story-
high school softball.
high
teams.
school softball.
Yeah.
There's just
you
there's
shouldn't because there's so many ways you can screw up.
Yeah, even
Why
if you're
would
the
you
best
enter
guy.
into that
a weird
minefield?
tap on the back of the ass, a compliment that crosses the line. Getting
You have to
too
question a guy who wants to coach. Like, what if we had a friend? Let's say we had a friend, one of our good friends who did comedy.
What
is
if all
like,
of a sudden we're like, Matt Bronger's coaching a high school girls softball? For a moment, we'd be like, what's going on?
with
That's
Bronger?
the last guy I want to be coaching a female basketball.
He drinks a lot. But the point is that, like, if one of our friends was like, I really
If
want
you
to.
have a daughter on a team, on a little league team, and then you're coaching,
That's one thing.
that makes sense.
I get it.
Yeah, I think coaching a female softball team is the PBA of coaching.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right?
If we're going
Yes.
to put it into a Philippine
You almost went for
basketball
a high five,
association
but I had
context,
it for you. All right.
but you're a dude and you want to coach a girls softball team, you got to ask the question: is there something going on?
Who is this
here?
guy? Is he a
Are
teacher?
you a red dot on a Google map?
Who is he?
You just check it out.
Do you have to tell people when you move to a neighborhood?
Right.
Do you have to meet your neighbors? Do
Look,
your
he
research.
might check out. He might just be like a teacher who's like, I'm not making enough money. I want to buy a jet ski. I got to do this extra thing.
wanna
There's
go down
so
to
much
Cabo.
money in female softball.
Well, maybe
Look,
it's an
it's an
extra
extra
$2,000, and that
Okay.
gets you what you need, but probably not.
And we've got the story to prove it. Last Friday, Troy Henham submitted his resignation to the Seattle Public School System after his dating scavenger hunt was brought to their attention by a woman who was targeted for a date.
In other words, Henham was using his girls' softball team to get him some action. Now, let's be clear. This guy was not taking advantage of his kids. He was not
Like Jerry Sandusky has set the bar for coaches so low that very few people ever reach that bar. So we always have to say that.
He's not. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was enlisting his high school girls as their service to help him
Because
find a date.
who's a better arbiter of good taste than a high school girl?
How was he doing this?
So this is watch one episode of Teen Mom and you'll understand why, how bad the decisions that those people make. So instead of working on relays from the outfield or double plays up the middle, he sent his girls out to find him possible dates.
So this woman,
Go off, find me a date.
Kat Agard. It's a horrible name.
To me, it sounds like a portion of Game of Thrones, up
It does.
behind the wall where they eat babies and you don't know what's going on.
Under
up
the
there.
Cat Haggard.
Agard Hill.
We will take Cat Agard.
So she's 25. She works at a sporting goods store, and she initially was flattered when the girls found her. And
Troy started texting her.
And he texted.
This is what he texted. Right? Genius. Great way to meet a girl. Use my girls, LOL.
You can't say my girls.
First of all, don't say LOL when you're first talking to somebody.
Thank you.
That's right. It's
Thank
not
you.
that funny.
And don't assume that someone's going to laugh out loud.
By the way,
No.
don't call them your girls, okay? Even the guys on American Pimp would be I don't call them. I call them my A-team.
So many
and when those get
missteps.
stolen.
Look,
brings back
you
to
can
me.
refer to your balls as your girls.
Yeah.
These are my girls.
Okay, so he texted
taking
with
my
her
girls
for
out.
an hour, and she thought he was a nice guy, especially when he brought up the fact that he teaches special education. He brought that up in the texting.
Was he using special ed students to go get him dates?
No.
I'm surprised
no.
he didn't send them
But that
out.
was the next step.
That would have been that's when you can't get a date and you really, that would have been.
I think that's a great strategy.
So Agard, this is where the internet has ruined dating for people with weird pasts. She had a change of heart when she searched Henham online, found a bunch of articles about why he left a nearby Lake Washington school.
By the way, if people are writing articles about how you left a school, they're never good.
That's not a
No.
good article.
No one's ever going to write
He
about
was such a good teacher, he left. That's never
he
an
left
article.
on great terms.
yeah, he
was
left
so
on a
good.
high note. Like ninth season of Seinfeld. He,
It's never a high
It's not
note.
like Jim Brown. He had 9 great seasons in the NFL, and they wanted to be an actor.
By the way, he apparently had been caught texting with a student inappropriately. That's why he left the other school. By the way, if Agard could find this out in one
Like a
half
10-second Google
Yeah.
search. What's
why,
the school
what's
not
the school
find?
doing? How did the school?
He hired this guy.
You
Screw
hired
this
this
person.
guy. To
So
take
she
it-
blew the whistle on the guy, and he did apologize to her, although it was one of those apologies where he apologized without actually apologizing.
He also dragged in other people who didn't need to be apologizing for
Here's
his
what he said. He said,
What did he say?
I want to apologize for any inconvenience myself or the team caused you.
The team is not.
It's not their
It's
fault.
not, they're just kids.
The team didn't text another student in another school. And what kind of English is that? Are you in English?
Well,
I want to
but-
apologize myself and the team.
By the way, if you are playing chess and you get checkmated by a bishop, do you blame your pawns?
No.
you don't.
No.
You blame yourself, and that's how it
He
goes.
threw the girls under the bus, and he had the softest balls of all.
That's right. All
That's
right.
what's up.
Speaking of softball, now as St. Louis Cardinals fans for this last story, I'll say that this is probably I'll say something.
It's not going to be popular
This
among
is
other
not going to be
Cardinals
popular
fans.
amongst other Cardinals fans, but you can understand this from a Pakistan-India perspective. You want both teams to be good,
Yes.
so that the game and the rivalry
Means more.
means something. Now, the Cardinals have won 2 World Series in the last 8 years. They've been to the
Cub-
World Series 3 times in the last decade.
The Cubs, if they get their uniforms on, that's a success for them.
Well, the Cubs have that goat curse, right?
They have the
got the
curse
goat
of the
curse.
goat from 1908.
Which that in its own right seems very Pakistan. Like a
Come on, man.
right?
Yeah,
Well,
that's what's holding us back.
Guys, the
Goat
goat curse.
curses.
Guys, it's just-
Goddamn goat
India
curse.
put a
But you
goat
guys,
curse
you
on
guys
us.
are so good at squash, though. Was it really just
One
one
dude,
guy?
one guy.
Made it so great. So the Cubs,
If they're good, that weekend in August becomes amazing. You don't want it to be charity work when we let them win every once in a
Sure.
while.
So when,
you're a Cardinals fan.
I'm a
Cardinals
Cardinals fan. So when a story like this next one comes along, where the Cubs video assistant
came in second place in a skills competition against all the Cubs players.
we have to shake our heads
At baseball?
at
In
baseball skills,
not like a
office skills,
skills
This
to
isn't
pay
like
the
a
bills
it
or
wasn't like
DJing.
collating skills.
collating or
or
faxing
DJing.
Why would they, first of
or
all,
let him in it.
and then release release the story.
Well,
Thank you.
You
Don't
couldn't
let that
stop
story
it.
get
You
out.
Stop the
agreed.
story. You
The
can't
Cubs
stop
don't
the
need
news.
any more bad press. All right.
You're right. They don't need it.
Don't let regular guys in competitions like
No.
this.
I don't even think regular people should be throwing out first pitches.
No.
I saw
Wrigley
Will
Field.
Ferrell when Will and Zach threw out the first pitch. Will Ferrell had a great
He
arm.
threw well.
Like the Cubs are so bad, they're at the point where if someone throws like a pretty hard strike, you'd be like, why don't we?
Wow.
Well, we signed that guy up.
Get his
bring that
number.
guy?
Do
Yeah,
you remember when Master P tried to try out for the NBA? He did that like a little time ago, and Garth Brooks also tried to.
Why,
you know,
he was in the development league for
He
a
was in the
while.
D League. He was Master P. No limits. Here's
Like,
a limit.
they-
Where is he
Here's a
now?
limit. You're not gonna make
he
the
did
NBA.
have a limit.
What
He did
happened to
have-
Master P?
I don't know.
His no limit compound?
Now, granted, this was a bunting competition, so you're just like literally just trying to deaden the ball and
Maybe he
and-
got lucky.
Look, no, because it's like many rounds. It wasn't a base running first to third fastest. It wasn't a biggest break on a curveball
It
contest.
wasn't a home run derby. It was
bunting
bunting.
contest. But the video assistant of the team should not be coming in second
Also,
place.
Cubs should not be having bunting contests.
Thank you.
That's right. They need to work on other things. In a baseball-related competition when other Cubs are in, I don't care if it's like
Tobacco spitting.
a tobacco spitting
Yeah,
contest.
yeah.
The video, he should be coming in second to last.
At best.
At
If
best.
he beats one guy, then that's a story.
He should be cleaning the
Yeah.
spittoon even on that thing. All right, or running replays of the spits. Now, Chicago Cubs manager Dale Sveum said that he's not embarrassed about the fact that a guy from the front office did as well, if not better than his players in the competition. I mean, I'd be embarrassed if Rafael Soriano came in second place in a bunting competition, but this guy,
That guy's in bunted.
because you know he hasn't exactly. Sveum protested, "Oh, come on. We're really worried about that. He's a professional player. He played overseas and in college. So
All right.
now they're trying to make this guy seem
oh,
better."
he's great.
Look, I know Italy did okay in the World Baseball Classic, but like European baseball is not exactly something I'd be tooting the horn about.
It's like a race to up his sort of CV as it goes. Now it's like the guy's like, "Come on, this guy had 100 bunts for hits his senior year of high school." Like he didn't say that, but I mean, you know that was what was.
All right, so Nate Helm is the video assistant's name. Nate beat pitcher Edwin Jackson before falling to David DeJesus. That's
Well, that would have been a PR nightmare if the guy wins the
Oh.
whole thing. Can you
in the
imagine
finals. He lost him in the finals.
that? Yeah, just like that would be crazy. Now it's true that Helm played baseball for Miami of Ohio, and apparently he played baseball professionally in Germany.
You know, Germany, that bastion of baseball.
I feel like when it seems like the video editor guy is doing pretty well, that's when you call the competition. Like,
Yes.
Say,
all
okay,
right,
guys,
we're
no
not
more
doing this
competition.
anymore.
This is you. This is you resetting the game and
We're
moving
done.
straight to Game
Yeah,
7.
you're
Game 7.
fired.
That's
yes,
it.
you're fired.
exactly.
You're done. You won't be here anymore.
Look, the tradition of German baseball is like as much of a tradition as Austrians locking girls in basements. Like it's the same.
Yeah.
It is a
thing.
tried and true tradition
And
of the people.
baseball is as German as knockwurst or apple strudel.
Yeah, I mean, concentration camps were just indoor baseball
Baseball,
stadiums.
they were just trying to do that.
So he played in Munich, apparently. You know how they love to bunt in Munich. Hey-o!
Teo, really.
They bunt so hard in Munich, they ring the Glockenspiel.
At the 17-minute mark.
Is that like a bunt cake? Isn't that?
Yeah,
German?
that's
is
very
bunt cake.
German. A German brown bunt cake.
Yeah, that's why.
So
Take
maybe
that.
this kid is like, maybe he is a star, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, there are people like calling into,
I don't
like,
know.
people calling into the Chicago show saying, sign this kid up.
Sign him up. You know they are. The Waddle and Sylvie show.
You know that angry Northsiders in Chicago are saying Theo Epstein's, it's his fault for not giving this guy a 10-day contract.
Would that not be the greatest movie ever, though?
That is a good
Video
movie.
assistant with a professional, like in a professional baseball team, he's got ties to Germany. He makes the Cubs roster based on his performance
Like,
in one bunt
They
competition.
televised the bunt competition like in Europe.
in every beer garden in Munich, the bunt competition's up there.
And what do you call it?
The curious case.
Come on.
The curious case of Benjamin Bunton.
Buntin
Yeah.
apostrophe.
He bunts so well that with each bunt he ages himself backwards, and
You gotta put a twist in it, right?
Just a
Yeah.
just a baby holding a bat at the very end.
and he still wins
And
against the
even
Cubs.
I would contend that the baby would probably bunt better than Rafael.
At least half of
Soriano.
the Cubs.
Half the Cubs. Kumail Nanjiani, thank you for joining
Oh,
us.
thank you so
on
much for
this,
having me.
Lovely first ever live
Oh, so fun. Thank you,
stream
guys.
of Sklarbro Country. Best of luck to you. People can follow you on Twitter at Kumail N.
Kumailn. Go to burninglove.com.
Oh, watch you on Burning
Watch
Love.
him on Burning Love. Watch him on Portlandia. You're so funny on that as
Oh,
well.
thank you.
And of
Watch
course,
for Meltdown, hopefully the comedy series
Yeah.
on Comedy Comedy Central.
And Franklin and Bash. If you're a Franklin and Bash fan, you are very funny on that show.
The guy is working. You're
in
working.
July. Yeah, trying to work.
I love it, dude. I just love that we're friends. It makes me very happy. Thank you for coming on the show. Take a break right now. What do we got?
This is a very indie artist. Her name is Aretha Franklin.
Aretha Franklin.
Urethra
Franklin singing "God Bless the Child." That's how I feel.
Which is also a good one. When we come back, speaking of, God bless Dennis Rodman for being on the show. He'll be with us. Stay with us. More Sklarbro Country right after this.
That's God is all.
All right, welcome back to Sklarbro Country, episode 140. That was great, Kumail Nanjiani. And
I want to remind everyone we will be at the Improv this weekend, this Saturday night, 2 shows here in L.A., Hollywood Improv.
Come out. We want all the Sklarbro Country fans to be there. A hearty Henderson.
There it is.
To all of you.
There you go.
That's Jason's son. All right, now as promised, we mentioned we have a special guest on the show. He called in, we got him, and we booked him on the show, which feels miraculous, but then it also doesn't feel that miraculous. But I'm so happy that he's here with us. The Worm, Dennis Rodman. Are you a Hall of Famer or?
Not yet, but I hope that's gonna be. Hope that's gonna happen pretty soon.
All right, so
I'm gonna work on that first. I gotta get another tattoo before that happens.
You do.
Well, maybe if I get a tattoo that says Hall of Famer for life or something, I don't know.
Maybe.
But my question for you is, well, thank you, Dennis, for being here. My question was, when you
got
got
hard to get up here, by the way. Man.
It wasn't hard to get here.
There was like an elevator and shit. I don't know.
You've never been in an elevator before?
Like a couple times, but this one was
You've only been in an elevator a couple times. I find that hard to believe. Was this a tricky elevator for you?
It was pretty. It was posing a lot of problems. The buttons were a little confusing for me.
The buttons are not confusing. It's just the numbers. We said 5th floor.
Well, it started with like a letter, it's like, it's a P and a G, and then all of a sudden there's like a 1.
That's
like,
the
I don't know.
All right.
I don't been there before, so whatever. Keep going.
I am actually really glad you made it. I'm trying to think, because I know what my day was like before I got here. What was your day like leading up to this right now?
I just got back. I was in Syria.
You did mention on there that you were in the Middle East and Syria.
So you went. It's highly publicized that you were in North Korea, and then they threatened to attack us after you left.
Right.
Then you went to Syria. Who did you meet with in Syria?
I met with the Saudi guy.
You met with a Saudi Arabian?
No, the guy.
Assad.
Okay, that's it. Yeah, it's good. It's like I'm not like a historical or whatever.
It's not a historical.
I'm not a diplomat, but I met with him.
You're not a diplomat, and yet you're making a lot of diplomatic trips.
Yeah, and then I just got back yesterday, and I had a promotional appearance at the Agua Caliente casino in Rancho Mirage. So I do a lot of stuff with the Indian tribes.
Yeah, you do. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah. I'm 132nd Cherokee.
You are not?
You really? No, I am. I was raised in Oklahoma. Yeah.
Were you really 132nd Cherokee?
It's one of the 8s. I don't know.
All right, so
64. It don't matter. I still I could go back to college, whatever, for free. If I wanted to, But I know everything I need to know. That's what Kim Jong-un told me. He said,
well, you guys developed a very interesting relationship.
Oh, yeah,
you think he's a good guy?
He's not awesome.
No, he's a great guy. He's a great guy.
Even after he said he threatened to nuke the United States of America, you still think he's a great guy?
Well, look. I mean, it's like people are gonna say everything. Like I used to tell Michael Jordan, man, I'll like hit you in the face or whatever. But
you said I'll hit you in the face to Michael Jordan.
Like he used to yell at me and scream, say, Dennis, how come you shoot like that? Because I shoot kind of crazy. Or whatever.
You do shoot kind of crazy.
I said I'm not here to shoot. I'm here to rebound.
Yeah, that's right. So he threatened to hit him in the face.
So that's what Kim Jong Un. He's going to hit us with a nuclear bomb. It's no different.
It's a little different. A nuclear bomb. I mean,
you didn't cause that though, right? You didn't cause.
He was deep into that thought before I even got there.
Okay.
I mean, he don't want to do. Look, let me clear it out. He does not want war. Like
he does not want to do.
No. Like we went ice skate when I was there. So like nobody wants to go ice skate wants to go
have
to war. Whatever.
But then, and yet he said I want to go to war afterwards. So you're saying he doesn't want to do war?
I think it's like we do like a girl. Like when I like Carmen Electra, right?
Yeah, I remember when you like Carmen Electra.
I would say like Carmen, man. I want to do a lot of stuff to you that's probably illegal,
And so,
that's
the next thing you know, you're married.
I mean, it sounds dangerous, but then we get together and I make love to her. So she likes it, whatever. she was it, like Madonna. Like, okay,
all right. So what? So wait,
I mean, Katy Perry, if you're out there, okay.
Okay. And by the way, Katy Perry is on the market now.
She is.
Look, the worm is ready. He's ready to go.
I mean, I even go for Amanda Bynes. I don't care. I'll
go for Amanda Bynes.
I'll get freaky with that. Sure.
That's a little young. That's a little young for me.
But I like them young and crazy.
Okay. I love that you do.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about the basketball in the Philippines.
Yeah.
You met your dad in the Philippines briefly at a basketball sort of a thing. And you talked to him from the court using the court microphone. That was your only interaction for
Ever
years.
with your
Yeah,
father.
well, that's all I needed to say. I said,
That's all you needed to say.
I just said, Dad, check it out. You messed up. like you should have stuck around because look what I got now.
Yeah,
Right.
But you're kind of proud of yourself though now, right? Because you are going around making these big trips and talking.
I mean, it's pretty cool. I got to go to North Korea, go to Syria, hang out with Donald Trump on the Trump copter. It's all good.
All right. So in Syria, what was your hope and your plan to accomplish in Syria?
Mainly I just want to see like what kind of clubs they have.
What kind of clubs they have?
Yeah,
right?
Just see if I
How
can
were
hang
the
out.
clubs? Were they good?
Oh man, they were off the hook.
Were they off the hook?
Off the hook. I was
You don't
crazy.
think of it as
no,
like
I'm telling you, man, you'll never see no club like that in Detroit.
You would not. Probably not.
No,
Damascus.
they got like ladies coming out with scarves and shit. Oh, it's crazy.
Okay, all right, good.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think I see why that guy wants to hang on to power.
I mean, they are having
he's
a
got
pretty.
an A.
Well, they are having a pretty vicious civil war right there.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. He's still a great guy.
He is not a
He
great
is
guy.
so far
he's
from a
also
great guy.
There are a lot of people who would say he's not a great guy.
He took me skeet shooting, and I love that was awesome.
Skeet shooting.
Yeah. But it was actual. There was actual people we were shooting at. So. It was a little
you're
different.
Using live ammunition, shooting.
Yeah.
At
I mean,
people.
I didn't kill nobody, but it was great. It was like, okay, let's do this. It's like free. It's not illegal here. Okay, it's like okay, whatever.
Okay, whatever.
Okay.
All right, what is next for Dennis Rodman? I mean, you've
Are
been
you
up
promoting anything you got going on?
Like obviously, I'm always going to be trying to do another Apprentice if I could get that working.
Sure. If Omarosa can come back, you can come back too.
Definitely.
Me and Gary Busey are talking about going on a road together.
You and Busey?
Oh, that'd be fun.
Doing what? Just going on the road?
We're gonna do like a 2-man, kind of like you guys, kind of thing.
You would do 2-man comedy show. You and Buse?
I would watch that.
We're gonna do some dancing.
Do you remember when you did the movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme, Double Impact?
Oh hell yeah!
You remember that?
Oh, that
you
was
were on
that was
top of the world. You were on top of the world.
I was king all media. I was bigger than Howard Stern.
You were pretty big. I don't know about that big, but you were definitely
I think we just
big.
need to remind ourselves that he did do a movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I did. Steven Seagal also called me, but I'm like, look, dude, Jean-Claude kicked my ass if I do what you. So
he would, and he'd probably do the splits over you as like just kind of show you and rub it in your face.
I also got a project with Luke Longley I'm working on.
You got a project with Luke Longley?
Yeah, so fishing show in Australia.
A fishing show in Australia?
Yeah, because I told you I'm from Oklahoma. 1/32 Cherokee. I know how to catch a fish. Son.
There you go. I bet he could. Maybe it's just like, is it fishing just with the bare hands, kind of like those? What are those called?
Noodlers.
Noodlers? Are you noodling?
We'd probably do some of that, but I also like to just fish with a cane pole. It's simple, keep it down, just real.
Okay. Dennis Rodman.
Keeping it real.
Keeping it real.
Yeah. For some reason, like I have to admit, when you were over there in North Korea and doing your thing, I didn't think you knew what you were doing.
Kind of like Kim Jong Un and you. Now
but when
that
I
you're
sit down and
here,
talk to him,
it kind of makes sense.
I mean, the guy from the CIA said like I know more about Kim Jong Un than anybody in the CIA, and he said that's scary. I was like, I think it's pretty cool.
Okay. There it is. There you go. Dennis Rodman, thank you for coming down and doing the show.
How do I get back down without the elevator?
Someone will help you out. Someone will help you out.
There's another way to get
back.
No,
you have to go with the elevator, or you can take the stairs.
There's another way to get down.
Dennis Rodman, everybody.
Dennis
Rodman. This was Sklarbro Country, episode 140. Kumail Nanjiani. Want to thank all the VPN people.
That's right.
Definitely want to thank Brett Morris on the
Zeros
big
and
board.
Ones.
Zeros and Ones. Thank you to Jeff. Thank you to Lauren. Thank you to Scott.
Thank you to Dave Jargowski.
All the Brent, all the VPN people who made this possible for us. This hopefully is a great new venture that we're stepping into.
I loved it. I had a blast.
And this episode will drop tomorrow. Again, come see us. Go to our website, supersklars.com. Check out where we're performing. Rodman may show up there. You never know.
Rodman shows up at our shows.
I'll be wherever you guys are, man. I'm right behind you.
He sells Ed Hardy shirts at his shows.
You sell Ed Hardy shirts?
Yeah. I got a lot of stuff. Yeah. Okay. I sell Chinese stars too, but whatever.
Chinese stars at his shows.
Yeah.
I love that. Who is this, Jay?
This, by the way, is the 1975. The song is
to credit Jake Fogelnest for getting me into this. Appreciate this. Guys, next week, we'll see you on the show. Next week, we've got Jim O'Hare.
Jim O'Hare on Tuesday on County. It's going to be a lot of
very,
fun.
Very good. And then next week for Country, we got Neil Brennan, writer of Half Baked and worked on The Chappelle Show. One of the funniest people we know. Great sports guy as well. So Punch Waterfalls. We'll see you guys next time.